afternoon to the City Library for this launch of Emma Clohessy's first debut collection, Poems Lost and Found. It's been a very busy 5 weeks of poetry launches here in the City Library, and there's a wonderful, supportive literary life here, especially among the poets, and a lot of the poets who have previously launched their collections here are here to support Emma as well, which is wonderful to see. Among those, of course, is the poet Thomas McCarthy here in the front. And as I said to him the other night, he's here as often as I am at the moment. In fairness to Tom, he's a huge support to poetry and all literary life in the city, and it's really wonderful to see, and I know how important it is to every poet who has their debut collection launched, that Tom is here to support them and say a few words of support for them. So a huge thanks, Tom. A huge thanks also, of course, to Revival Press, who have been here as well quite a number of times over the last 5 weeks, and just how important what they do is to every poet that wants to see their work in a collection, and the work and the publications that they produce are just so beautiful and so professional, as you see with Emma's today. Emma's has beautiful artwork in it as well, and they are extremely important nationally to all up-and-coming poets and establishing them within the poetry life of the country. So a huge thanks also to Revival Press for that. And so congratulations, Emma. It's been wonderful working with you towards this launch. And before Tom will formally launch, I will ask Tommy Collins from Revival Press to say a few words. Thank you.
agus díobh cóide tá fear áthas ar an bheith an seo inniuh agus an leabhar iontaach seo a sheoladh Poems Lost and Found le Emma Clohessy. An seo leabhar céad is a hocht, runner gá céad is a hocht, ó chuir tús lenar Johnscoil Fáilte Hort a Hubble Slaughter and Screed and Ori Lindy. So hello everyone, I'm delighted to be here this afternoon to celebrate the release of Emma Clohessy's debut poetry collection, Poems Lost and Found. As you heard, my name is Tom Collins. I'm the poetry editor at Revival Press, which is the poetry imprint of the Limerick Writers' Centre. So just before we hear from Tom McCarthy and from Emma herself, I'll just say a few short-ish words about what we do at the Limerick Writers' Centre. Our big thing is to encourage writers to develop their talents, whether that's with the pen, the typewriter, or the microphone. Whether driven by the ambition to become a professional artist for personal growth or simply writing for pleasure. We believe literature should exist to enrich readers' lives, to promote understanding, to foster connections throughout wide communities. Poetry, novels, memoirs, short stories and songs, as you know, can bring us moments of beauty, celebration or consolation. But sometimes they can also take us out of our comfort zones and make us see the world in new ways. Sometimes we look within ourselves, at our hometown, our nation, or events with a global scope to see how they reflect on the human condition. We strive to see the value in every creative endeavour, to share them so that they might be enjoyed and remembered, whether that's through publication or performance. Our goal is to make exciting ideas more accessible, to celebrate the wisdom drawn from the lived experiences of real people in their own words. And our motto is based on the words of John Millington Synge, that poetry must have its roots in the clay and the soil of our communities. We recognise poetry's kinship with ritual, with oral tradition, and with sacred practices across cultures. Like prayer or meditation, poetry offers a structured way to engage with deeper truths, to connect with ancestral wisdom, and to transcend everyday consciousness. We like our books to serve as talismans that inspire further poetic creations. We also believe that poetry and literature offer resistance against dehumanization in all its forms, a resistance that cannot be colonized by authoritarian forces. And we hope that this legacy will be passed on to future generations who will build on these foundations. At Revival Press and Limerick Writers Centre, our publishing philosophy centres on service. And in our programme, we focus on creating high-quality, short-run titles that anyone can pick up and enjoy. This service-oriented approach guides all of our decisions, from manuscript selection to design choices to community engagement. We value work that acknowledges this tradition and the interconnectedness of art forms, and approaches writing as a practice with spiritual dimensions. Over the years, we've produced a wide range, whether that's poetry or short stories, novels or histories, memoirs, or even a variety of mixed prose. And we're proud that our books capture snapshots of living and evolving culture, hopefully lasting for many years to come. We trace our story back to the inspiration of the Poetry Circle, which was founded by Desmond O'Grady in the White House Bar in 1954, and its resurgence under Barney Sheehan and Dominic Taylor in the early 2000s. This legendary era of weekly readings became known as the White House Poetry Revival. We also, however, like to remember the shared tradition of Limerick and Cork's May poets of the 18th century, bringing poetry and song together for entertainment, for the sharing of important ideas, but also, of course, for merriment. So on top of poetry readings, creative writing workshops, competitions in poetry and prose in Irish and English, and a variety of other projects, our biggest focus in recent years has been on our community publishing programme. We've been working hard to make a mark in the world of literature, first in Limerick City and then beyond, bringing book ideas and writing to people of all ages since 2008, bringing us to today and our 208th publication. The collected poems in this book are a superb exemplar of our values. In this book, we are taken on a journey through almost 60 pieces of wonderful words. And in what I believe is a first for us at Revival Press, and possibly even unique among Irish publishers in general, this book is beautifully adorned with pieces of art in full colour. Some of the poems in the book were inspired by pictures, while in other cases the visual artist was responding to the poet's lines. These ekphrastic combinations meld together different art forms in one place, taking readers down avenues that might not otherwise have been possible. Emma's skill as a writer shines throughout, with 5 themed sections bringing us tastes of a magic menu, strolls through Spain, the beauty to be found in nature's theatre, and landmark moments in life's footsteps. As Noel Monaghan puts it in his testimonial, Emma's aesthetic approach broadens our understanding of reality and highlights the beauty of the everyday. So on behalf of Revival Press and the Limerick Writers Centre, Mhíle Mágat to Emma for choosing Revival Press as a home for your poetry. Thanks again to Cork City Library for hosting this event this afternoon, and to Tom McCarthy for the words that he will share with us in a moment. Special thanks to all of the team at Limerick Writers Centre, including Pat for his fabulous photography, and especially Jeffrey Carmody for his design work on this unique project. And it's also fantastic to see such a great crowd here today, especially with the weather warnings. So thank you all so much for coming. I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to pick up a copy or two of this book, because I think it's a real treasure that you will hopefully revisit again and again for years to come. So with all that said, congratulations, Emma.
absolutely fantastic to be here, and it's lovely to see a great crowd on another day of extreme weather. The last poetry book we published here also brought us torrential rain. The gods of winter love poetry and wish to rain upon it. So it's wonderful to be here with you. It's fantastic that both Dominic and Tommy, the great geniuses of Revival Press and of Poetry in Limerick, are here to celebrate with us. It's just brilliant. It's amazing to think that I knew both Desmondo, the great Desmond, I knew him well. McCarthy, Desmond said to me once, "You're one of the 12. And I said, "12 what, Desmond?" He said, "One of the 12 apostles of the table of Irish poetry." And I said to him, "I hope I'm not the one that betrayed the whole bloody thing." It's under consideration. Desmond was just the life and soul of poetry for so long. And here now we have a most beautiful book, Poems Lost and Found, which contains such incredible sensitivity, such an amazing range of kind of aesthetic life and appreciation. It's fabulous to have music and to hear the harp, because Emma Clohessy's instinct for music and knowledge of it is absolutely superb, and her appreciation of it and the way she writes about music is superb, and the way she writes about musicians is superb. But also art. Her entire poetic oeuvre is permeated with artistic activity, with visual arts. And many of the really wonderful ekphrastic poems in this show a knowledge and an instinct for art that's really uncanny and beautiful. But what is most uncanny and most beautiful about these poems is, as shrewdly enough, James Harper, who's no mean judge of poetry, had actually spotted the very high level of craft and understanding of the poetic method which is in these poems. You would never in any way think that this was a debut collection of poetry. This is accomplished work, which has been assembled here to give us a wonderful book, Poems Lost and Found. So this is poetry of a very high standard from a poet who has an incredible respect for the craft of poetry. Is not really happy to be just a message carrier of important moral messages, which tends to be now and again the default position of people who want to write poetry. No, her understanding that poetry is a craft, that it's not just thinking about the first thought you have, but the thought you have after you've thought about something, which gives us poetry. So here we are. All of that kind of intrinsic coherence is within the lyrics, lyric after lyric. I mean, I would hate to point out particular ones, because then you might read others more carefully, but I am definitely going to mention these, which are my favourites in this book. Marble Halls, an absolutely extraordinary poem. Separation. Separation is such a sophisticated, extended metaphor. Separation. Firstly, the separating of the cream and the way in the process of making butter, of butter making. And from that into the idea of the box, the butter box, but also the boxes that contain our beloveds when we're beginning to lose them at the ends of their lives. So it is a really sophisticated use of that metaphor and that word, separation. And also a poem, Hold My Hand. Just a wonderful poem about attachment and lack of attachment. And the other extraordinary poem about a moment of listening to profound music. That poem, Skilled Arts of Valletta. Just an absolutely wonderful poem. So these are just 4. In fact, that you could spend an entire day just with those 4 to extract the full aesthetic of what has come together in the craft work that made these poems. And it's for this reason I think that a poet of the calibre of James Harper, who is extremely difficult to please, that he would respond so warmly to this book, as indeed would that other great old craftsman who has had a career as long as my own, John Ennis, who also responds wonderfully, and indeed Noel Monaghan. But like one of the main things we tend to forget about poetry, and which always brilliant poetry books are a reminder of, is that poetry and the making of it is one of life's great pleasures. There is absolutely nothing, well there are one or two things, but I won't mention them here, but there is absolutely nothing as exquisite as that feeling when you know on a day when you've written a really good poem. You know it's a good poem. It's standing up on its own. It doesn't need any defense from you. That's the sheer pleasure. It's why good poets want to go back there again and again and again to try and recharge themselves with that feeling of aesthetic accomplishment. And that sense of aesthetic accomplishment is everywhere in the poems in this wonderful book. So it is a great pleasure for me to be a witness here on this day, on the day that Poems Lost and Found was launched, and I congratulate the poet Emma Clohessy.
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a crowd. I am so grateful that you all came out to support me today. Thank you very, very much. Could I have asked for anything better to be spoken? Oh my goodness, Tom, that was beautiful. I sat there, he used one particular word, charged. That's what he did for me when he spoke. You charged me because you were picking out particular poems. They were beautiful. Yes, connections, there were strong connections. So thank you very much, Tom. Tom, I believe you need another doing. Now, there's one woman here today, and that is our Senior Executive Librarian, Patricia Looney. Patricia Looney, she will work for people in Cork City, County, Munster, supporting people in the literary world. So, Patricia, what you have done to support me here today, thank you very, very much. Yes, a boule of us for her. Now, it was Margaret O'Driscoll that introduced me to Tom for Revival Press. What a book. It is absolutely beautiful. Tom and Dominic, thank you so much. Oh, I just met you in person. After that, everything was just a few emails over and back. Nothing more. But look at what you produced. It was just lovely. So, thank you very, very much. I'm most appreciative of it. Thanks a million. Yes. Now, there was one man who gave his apologies for not being able to come, and that was Matthew Geaton. He was running a workshop today, and because of that, I cannot leave him out. Is Matthew here? Oh, Matthew! Oh my goodness, you made it. Matthew was a very, very special part in this. Matthew's my mentor. So here he is, he's got his writing school in Kinsale, working in UCC, he was doing Writers in Residence, and came to me and said, Emma, you're getting your poems out there. They're not being published because, you know, he said, people are obviously liking them. He said, would you not put them together into a collection? So, Matthew, you will get your bullibus today. Thank you so much, because if you hadn't just persuaded me, just put them all together into a book, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you, Matthew. Now, I can say that my father used to come in, sit down, and we'd have our cup of tea on Friday morning. And this joke that went on for months on end, and it was basically a case of, well, which was going to come first, Emma? Is it going to be the book, or will I be collecting my cheque from the President of Ireland? And so, anyway, he didn't make it to the 100th birthday. However, I dedicated the book to him. So, here's to you, Billy. This time. So what is poetry for me? Poetry is something that will sit inside a frame. A frame is small, so you've got to capture it in a small amount of words. And in that, it can be a moment in time, it can be an observation of people, it can be, I suppose, nature, definitely, a big part. When you can walk into an art exhibition and what you can be passionately, oh my gosh, look at that piece of art. It can be waking up from a dream. Oh my gosh, imagination let loose. And take off downstairs. Where's my pen? Where's my paper? That's it. And you can just let imagination take off. And you don't know where that poem is going to take you. And so, let's see. I suppose what I want to do is invite you here now, at this moment in time, to share the moments that have had strong meaning for me. So the first one will be ducks seen from the Middleton train window. Webbed feet imprints of ducks and geese on sunset mudflats after the tides wash out reveals a treble clef arrangement by busy steps writing orchestral notes. Facing east, waterfowl meander unaware of their music manuscripts. Quaver and semi-breathe on vanishing wetlands conducted through picture windows. Oh, lets one perceive a harmonious concert, relaxed, eyes closed, stress adrift. On return journey, birds paddle now, oblivious of how they lift up human hearts. Now, Dagda. Dagda was an important, is an important god in Celtic mythology, portrayed as a father figure, a king and druid. So in keeping with my harpist here today, and putting those together, the title of this one is Harp of Life. Ah, Dagda, you whittled and shaped me, carved from a single willow log, chiseled me as a harp, one strong across her head, across the top, neck of gut strings, tuning pins modeling my life's decisions to reach the soundboard. Today, instrumental in bringing about good music in lives. I will play notes that resonate, a caring mindset, lessons taught since I was a child, by a parent, craftsman, pillar of support. Oh, under strain of many strings, thank you, Dad. Now, where would we be in the poetry world without a love poems? So, midnight tide. Ankles washed by midnight waters, thirsty sands drink swollen slaps, while on shore seaweed wanders, lungs fill with gulped gusts. Incoming tide swings and drifts. A full moon films black and white, double footprint trail across Warren's beach. Yet, by cliff's edge, fresh evidence reveals no sunken heels, just toes facing toes, until a wave washes over our secret. Now, it's lovely to be able to read your own poetry. But what is it like for somebody else to perform your poetry? Well, I can say that thanks to Trevor in the Montfort's College of Performing Arts, he's worked with me, and two students here today from the Montforts are going to perform some of my poetry. So Lorcan and Saoirse, come on. That's it. That's it. And have some fun.
Nutcracker by Emma Clohessy. At the kitchen island worktop, Alice, busy with one curved tool, crafts Persian walnuts. Our family sit in the open plan dining area, chatter about recipes. My sister Alice places each tough drink into the art apparatus, gently squeezing to split cases, yet breaking no seeds into fragments. Picking shells away from the inner core, another walnut is held in hand. Gathered nuts in an earthenware dish, I turn to Alice and ask if she is the nutcracker, or is it the gadget?
Opera skies. Lightning waves her uptown nail polish while conducting symphony movements direct across opera skies, flashes that fascinate tonight's admirers. No worries regarding negative charges, only attractions of positive vibes. And this is proven when she turns to bow. Her audience stands, letting claps of thunder rise. Skilled Arts of Valletta. In the Rosary Oratory of St. Dominic's Basilica, open curtains are carved into Maltese stone walls. Fatmi Alkai makes a grand entrance, viola da gamba in hand. Performance begins. He draws his bow over 7-stringed wooden art. This motion so triggers limestone-robed angels to dance with a pulse, arms outstretched on tiptoe. Sun shines aglow through short single window, high on south wall. Supreme echoes resonate off full stone surround, while gripping their hearts, angels thank God for complimentary notes. Short, fast, long, and slow. Inkwells and pencil boxes. As 7-year-olds, we learn to sit, patient for the sun to pour, to shine with warmth through our south-facing windows, make cozy our class mid-morn. Wools shared for crochet, tadpoles in jars, chalk dust, lunch bells, tin whistles and art, paper-wrapped books all under high ceilings, with wood-dressed floors and wainscot walls. Light revealed each pine desk's initials, as centuries cluttered together, but creative carpenters hinged lids, giving us our sense of belongings. Those flat tables for our copies, lifted to leave, our lunchbox and pencils at hand. On plank seats attached, we sat in pairs, made first friends we never forgot, or lost forever.
And I hadn't heard that before now. This is my first time, so well done. That was lovely, really, really nice. What is it? It's actually bringing the arts together. So that's the performing arts, just brought from the written word. Then you have so much, whether just seeing artists, what they're doing, and that can inspire you. Music, look what it can do for us. It's just bringing the whole lot together today. But one person I really want to thank as well is Rose McGrath. And she is the head of MTU's Crawford College of Art and Design. So she worked as well with me on this, and I just gave in 4 poems, and the students worked on them, and they were inspired, and they have illustrations in the book. So wow, it's lovely to actually bring the arts together. So my final poem today is called 3 a.m. Calling. Oh, with tears of unrest my baby cries out. I wake, weary mother, in darkness woke, to cot, to lift, to embrace, to redoubt. She gurgles to me, I chatter and talk. Dutiful parent, I pick up Teddy. She hugs him and curls up as her eyes close. Then, for a moment, I stand there steady, look between curtains to watch the world doze. Movement. On path slabs, I notice a fox. Sniffing buttercups, hawthorn, spear thistles and gloves. Moonlit flowers edged with limestone rocks persuades. Each moment has reason, whistles a thought, that if I'd slept throughout this night, I would have missed this true delight. signed, I'll have no problem doing them.